the newest starting pitching addition to the Texas Rangers, it is Nathan Eovaldi. Good afternoon, sir.
Hey, how y'all doing?
We're doing excellent. We have a lot of logistical questions about the press conference before we get into baseball, and I just want to warn you about that so you're prepared.
No worries.
Our first logistical question. Chris Young wasn't wearing a tie. Do you wish he was a bit fancier for your press conference?
No, it doesn't matter to me at all. If I didn't have to wear a suit, I wouldn't either.
Thank you, Nathan. So, former major league pitcher here, never good enough for anybody to throw a press conference for me. Why do they make guys wear suits and ties and then they put a jersey and hat on you? Wouldn't it just be easier for you to wear a nice Rangers T-shirt and then put the jersey on?
You would think, but I mean, I understand the whole process of it. You know, you gotta dress the part to look the part. It's always awkward though, trying to put on the jersey or pull it over. And I was like, I went with the good old pullover because I'm definitely a sweater, so try to hide those as much as I can.
If you get the chance, we'll send you the audio because we were carrying your press conference and then we had to fill while you were putting the jersey on. And I believe the joke we made was this is live coverage of him putting the jersey on right here on 105.3 The Fan.
See, and I always feel like it takes a long time, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to go with the pullover. And I only had the two buttons buttoned. I didn't have the lower ones buttoned. I was like, now I still have to button them.
Did you get a choice on which jersey you got to wear? Because the Rangers have lots of options. Did you say I want the white one, or was that just given to you?
No, that one was just given to me.
Okay, all right. Yeah, my imagination says that you would have rather just gone out there in full uniform and just been like, all right, let's start pitching right now.
Oh yeah, I mean, if we could start the season today, I'd be ready. I'm excited for it.
All right, and I promise we do have more baseball-specific questions about the upcoming season.
Or do we?
I mean, we probably do, but a couple of years ago, I was talking with Shin-Soo Choo about this at spring training, and we got caught up in a discussion about no state income tax because people always push that as like a selling point of people signing in the state of Texas. And so every time we talk to an athlete about signing here, we ask, did you care about the fact that there's no state income tax in Texas? I know you are a Texan, but do you care about that at all?
I mean, again, with me being a Texan, for me, it's more the fact that it's close to home, but I mean, I can't lie and say that it doesn't factor into everything. I mean, it obviously plays a big part into it, but for me, the main thing was just being close to home. I have all my family out in the Houston area. My wife and I were high school sweethearts, and I think our furthest relative from Houston is 2 hours away, so Houston will always be a home base for us. And for them to be able to have that opportunity to come out to more games and, watch me pitch, it's going to mean a lot to me.
Did you grow up a fan of Houston sports, like Oilers, Rockets, Astros, or was there any type of love for the Cowboys or Mavericks or something like that?
Yeah, I feel like any city I'm in, I feel like I try to make every team that home team. You know what I mean? So I did have the Astros, the Oilers, the Rockets, but then my dad was a huge Dan Marino's fan growing up, so I was always a fan of the Miami Dolphins with him. But anytime they came and played the Oilers, we were watching both those games, and honestly, I just enjoy the sports. Just watching it all.
Why does the city of Alvin, Texas, produce great baseball players?
I don't know. For me, I mean, we're going to the local McDonald's. Any restaurant you go to, you have Nolan Ryan everywhere. You got the Nolan Ryan Museum. You got the statues. We got the Nolan Ryan School, baseball field, at Alvin High School. So walking into the gates, they've got the plaques and all the accolades of everything that he's been able to achieve, and you're seeing all those stats every day you walk into the field. And I don't know, for a kid like me, getting to see that, it's like you're looking at the greatest pitcher, every day when you walk into the field, and knowing like this is what you have to do to get anywhere close to that. And obviously I'm not anywhere close to it, but the work ethic is one of the main things that you hear about Nolan, and his relentlessness when he's out there on the mound, and he wants that ball and he wants to finish the game every time he takes that ball. And for me, a lot of it is work ethic and going out there and going into the field every day and being supportive for your teammates, and it just means a lot for me.
Was there ever a part of you that thought about switching sports when you were younger? Because it's very unlikely that you would ever become the greatest baseball pitcher ever from your high school.
No, I mean, I never really thought I'd have a chance at passing any of his stats. And baseball is by far my best sport, and I enjoy playing that one the most as well.
Yesterday we had Derek Holland here, and I know he was with you for just a minute there in spring training last year, and you said you're ready to go right now. And I know that things are a little bit different from, let's say, 10, 15 years ago to today. When you say you're ready to go right now, like, are you throwing 50-pitch bullpens, or like, where are you at when it comes to early January and throwing off the mound?
I am throwing bullpens. I'm right around 30, 35 pitches. I try not to step on it too much. I have a tendency of doing that too early, so I've been trying to hold back a little bit. And I'm throwing a bullpen maybe once a week, once every 5 to 6 days. So I'm not where I need to be fully for the season to start yet, but my arm feels great, and I'm just really trying to keep the good vibes rolling.
If you had advice for, let's say, kids right now, I have 12-year-old and 14-year-old getting somewhat ready for baseball. They're playing basketball right now. When do you start throwing breaking balls? When do you start really letting it go if your first, let's say, real game isn't till March 1st, your spring training? And for most kids, they'll start playing baseball games in March in Texas.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not a big fan of the kids throwing breaking balls at such a young age. I feel like it's very hard on your arm and very hard for you to get that repetition down. And for me, in the past, I think that's why I got hurt, was trying to throw breaking pitches and doing it, not throwing it the right way, not having the right break or the right action on it. I'm trying to create everything instead of, letting it happen out front in front of me. For me, a lot of the kids, I think they need to play as many sports as possible, and that'll keep you ready for when baseball starts, and then it's just playing catch. And the more catch you can play without throwing fastballs, without throwing sliders or breaking balls, things like that, just stick with the fastballs. It's going to build your arm strength up for what you need, and to me, it's about location. Well, you locate the ball, you'll be able to get out.
When you were talking, that's true. That is true. When you were talking about, maybe some injuries in the past, I was reading an article and it described your addition to the Rangers, that you're joining a deep but risky rotation. Do you think that is a fair assessment of this Rangers rotation?
I mean, I would say, yeah, you can say that, because you look at the past and we have a lot of guys that have been injured. But again, I think you learn a lot from your injuries, and most guys don't have the same injury twice, or the reoccurring one. You learn ways to take care of your body, and you learn, how weak you were in certain areas. And obviously, whenever you get hurt, you make those areas a lot stronger. And I think with the amount of guys that we have coming in, I know firsthand it takes a lot of pressure off of you if you have a lot of starters in the rotation. It's not so much about the fact that you're worried about competing for a job. It's just knowing that you can pass the ball. You go out there, you worry about your day, and then the next guy behind you is going to be able to pick up the ball and do the same thing for you. And it takes a lot of pressure off the bullpen, and in a way, everybody stays fresh, because there's a lot of the mental aspects that go into the game. And if you only have one or two starters going out there taking the ball for you that are able to, it puts more pressure on you to go 6, 7, 8 innings to take the load off the bullpen. And then it also, it gives the bullpen those days off as well. If you have all those guys going out there being able to go deep into a game, everybody stays fresh. But if you hit that stretch where everybody's getting hurt, or if they're getting taken out of the game in, the second or third inning, now the bullpen has to cover a lot of innings, and it makes it a lot tougher for them.
Nathan Eovaldi joining us here on the K&C Masterpiece on 105.3 The Fan. There was a line that Chris Young said that you told him, and it was, "I want to win championships." And yes, as lifelong Rangers fans, we have not experienced that. We've been very, very close. And lately, they haven't been that great of a team. So I'm kind of curious, what was it that sold you? Was it Chris Young's pitch? What was it that made you think that they are building a championship caliber team?
So, I mean, they went out and got Marcus Semien and Corey Seager a few years ago, right? And they continue to add to it. You got Garcia out there in the outfield. You have, Lowe at first, 4 or 5 guys in the lineup who can produce 100 RBIs easily, in my eyes. They stay healthy. To me, they play really good defense. I know when I would come over here and face the Rangers, it wasn't a lineup I enjoyed facing. You got power at the top. They're going to find ways to get on base, and then you got speed at the bottom of the lineup. And whenever you can put speed on the base paths, I think it creates havoc on the pitcher and makes them, it's forcing them to make good pitches. And it's tougher to do when you have runners on base, and it leaves room for error, and that's when the top of the lineup capitalizes on that. For me with CY, with him talking to me, it's like they have a lot of the technology. And for me, we didn't really have a lot of that, and we had to rely a lot on just the feel and your, you're doing dry work and things like that in between your starts to stay crisp and locked in. And I felt like I started losing, that good feeling, and I was really kind of searching for what I needed last year. And I think that's part of the reasons I had my struggles. And we have a lot of the technology in the sports science lab and things like that, where it's able to really break down your mechanics and slow it down for you to see everything. And I'm a big mechanic guy. I'm a mechanical guy. I'm a big feel guy. So I think that's going to help me out a lot for this year coming up. And again, we got a lot of young talent. Like y'all said, we've been losing, and a lot of the times you get first round draft picks and things like that from it. But I think we're at the point now where we're going to make that turn, and you got a lot of the young guys who are ready to make an impact in the big leagues this year. And we got a lot of veteran guys that are joining the rotation and the team as well. So I think a lot of that experience that we're going to be bringing in from outside teams, I think the starting pitching is the key to success, and it just inspires everybody else, and it shows them that we're here to compete and win championships.
Nathan Eovaldi, Texas Rangers pitcher, joining us right now. Now, there's a lot of things that are going to change in 2023. I want to know from your perspective, without kind of watching you pitch every fifth day, is the pitch clock going to affect you more, or is only being able to pick to bases twice going to affect you more?
If I had to choose the two, I would say the picking, but again, I don't feel like I've been picking as much, and I think also too with the pitch comm usage, it really helps speed the game up. So I think that, even though we are being forced to, throw the ball quicker, I think that that the pitch comm is going to help out with that, just because you won't have to shake as much and as fast. It's like you just push the buttons, and a lot of the times with batters, you shake one time or two times, they step out of the box, and you got to go through the process again, and it disrupts your timing and things like that. But I've always been a believer that if you can work quick on the mound, you have the advantage over a hitter, because they have less time to think and react, and especially if they get a bad call from the umpire, you get frustrated with the bad call, you got to get back in the box, and now you're forced to be ready to swing, and you don't have time to really think about what the next pitch is going to be.
It's interesting because Tampa Bay was told take as much time as possible, because if you take over 20 seconds in between pitches, it will give you more energy each pitch. I love pitching quick. I never could throw hard, but I love the pitching quick. I actually love the pitch clock coming in. I was just wondering if you were ever told by any pitching coach or anybody, take more time in between pitches because it's going to give you more velocity or more energy eeach pitch.
No, I had never heard that about the 20 seconds for more energy and things like that. But again, that's why I think that's your work ethic, and you put in that time in between each start to be able to go out there and work quick and to be efficient out there for 100 pitches.
Now, Nathan, as Mike said earlier, Derek Holland does join us like every Wednesday. He comes and hangs out with us, and he's been.
You want to invite him too?
Yeah, you're always welcome to come hang out on Wednesdays too. But he's a good friend to the show, and he was talking. He had a small time with you, but he said he could tell that you were a good presence in the clubhouse. And Kevin and I know Mike's seen lots of clubhouses, but we've seen chess games, crossword puzzles, NCAA brackets. We even saw Brad Miller was bringing bamboo in there last year. What are you bringing to the clubhouse to kind of help things elevate?
Hey, that's a tough one. Definitely the work ethic. That's probably my go-to. I'm almost never in my locker. I'm always somewhere else. I always feel like there's somewhere else I can be, whether it's out on the field watching bullpens or in the weight room or, I don't know, a video room. I'm almost never in my locker until it's like right up to the game time. So I'm not really sure what I'm going to be bringing.
So if we want to find
I need to work on that.
Yeah, if we want to find you during spring training, we have to look elsewhere other than the clubhouse, is what you're saying.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Got it.
Now, speaking of spring training, the last thing I was really curious about, are you part of the World Baseball Classic team as well, and how do the logistics of that work?
Yeah, so they reached out, and I mean, that's one of the things I've always wanted to do in my career, and they reached out, and there was no hesitation to say yes. I'm not really sure exactly when everything starts. I think we report out there February 13th, but from what I've been told, it's essentially would be built up one inning more than where we normally would be at that point.
Okay.
Of spring training, and they want to, obviously they they're looking after our safety, and then the club's, respects as well. So I'm just honored for the first part to be able to put on the USA jersey and hopefully bring home the gold, bring home the championship.
Yeah, we're looking forward.
Stacked lineup.
We're looking forward to that, but we would even more prefer a championship here in
Of course,
Arlington. Like if you can only pick one. Yeah. Well,
yeah, I mean, if I can only pick one, I gotta go with the Rangers.
Good answer.
Selfishly. I mean,
excellent.
Got to.
Excellent answers right there. We appreciate you jumping on and appreciate you signing with the Rangers. We're all looking forward to it. Thank you very much, good sir.
I'm looking forward to it as well. Thank y'all for having me.